Hi there, in this video we're going to go from horizontal to vertical. Oh, look at that. Okay, it's not going to be instant. I wish there was just a quick, easy push button. There are lots of things to help you, and we are getting there with this whole embracing social media and all these different weird aspect ratios. Let me show you what's easy and what needs a little bit of manipulation. All right, there's three ways of getting this vertical. They all, wow, most of them end up in the same place. We can just go to, remember we made one that's vertical earlier in the course. Okay, so I'm going to copy the stuff from the horizontal, go into vertical, open it up, and just paste it in. Okay, I'm going to go back one. You can see, let's have a little look. There you go, little animations come through. Parts of it are resized. Okay, it's not perfect. It never is. Well, it's not at the moment, at least. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. There's no real better way than another. The other way is, let's say that we don't do it that way. We've got the horizontal. All we want to do is duplicate it and flip it. So over here in horizontal, we can just go right click, duplicate. And we're going to make this one vert 2. Okay, open it up and go and change the sequence settings. Okay, and just kind of flip it over here. And it does same job. Click OK. Let's click OK. And we end up in the same spot. So it's up to you how you want to work. The third way that I promised doesn't really work. It's the auto reframe. I add this here because auto reframe is bound to get better and give you more control. So let's close this down. We're back at our horizontal again. We have no verticals. What we can do is say sequence and go auto reframe sequence, because obviously we know that our kind of talent is this woman here, not really this guy, but you can't tell auto reframe that. Okay, so we're going to flip it. It's going to be called fitness horizontal. We're going to have to go change that name, but we're going to make the aspect ratio vertical. And let's click create. It's done a similar job, except that guy's our focus. Look, it's not what we want. Eventually catches on, goes, oh, do you mean, hang on, you don't mean her, do you? You're like, yep. So yeah, it'll get better. Try it with your version. Okay, you're in the future. Your version might be working really good. We're gonna have to go and change that name because it's still called horizontal. Okay, so we'll call this one. Remember, it goes into these groups. Vertical. Actually, I'm gonna bin the ones that I'm not gonna use. So it doesn't really matter how you get to this point. I'm gonna use that one. Okay, I'm gonna use just one of them. And the thing to notice is that I'm ready for Premiere Pro to be this magical, just make it horizontal. Okay, and it's done parts of it, but not others. And I feel like they are working on this sort of responsive stuff in all their programs. XD are doing an amazing job of it at the moment. So I'm hoping that sort of spills over into Premiere Pro. Now, what has adjusted? Can you see the background rectangle has adjusted? Because in this original one, with this thing that we've downloaded, okay, or that we've made, what they've done is with it selected, they've gone to background and they've said pin to, see these edges here? So it's going to resize. That's not on by default. Okay. If you click on that middle one, it's going to try and, join the edges. Okay. Or stick to the edges. So if I turn that off and try and copy this over, copy, go to here, go to a different part of my sequence and paste it. Can you see it actually just pasted down the bottom? Okay, whereas this one with the pinning on ends up being in the center, it goes to the edges, it's all very nice. So that part works. The font works, it's just proportionately quite small, so we have to change that. So if you are doing this yourself and creating it, just make sure, like we looked at earlier on, that we do things like the responsive design, okay, responsive design position, okay, and pin to, and just make sure that pinning's on the edges, if that works for you. You'll have to experiment with your situation. And videos at the moment aren't doing this responsive stuff. Okay, I wish it did. You could just click on this and go pin to edges, but that doesn't work at the moment unless you've seen it somewhere. I can't find it. So we're just gonna have to do it manually and just go zoop. Don't tell anyone. Okay, because we're increasing the size by 180%. That's not good. But it's social media. What are they gonna know? Okay, so I'm going to do a manual auto reframe. So I'm gonna go to the beginning here with the woman's off screen. Okay, and I'm gonna grab the position. I'm gonna say, you, my friend, are in the middle. Set a keyframe, move towards the end. Okay, hold shift, snap to the end, go back one keyframe using your back arrow, and then go this way. get her in the middle there. There's a problem with this because there's a bar in the middle. Let's fix that. Again, just to reiterate some of the stuff we've already learned. Okay, so what I want to do is, I know I need it to be 15 seconds, right? But I don't want that big bar, like whatever part of the gym that's crossing across. So I know about there, it's still looking sweet. So I'm going to click on this clip, and when you've got a marker, remember you can hit M key. If you've got the clip selected, the marker ends up on the clip, not the timeline. Okay, and what I want to do is then use my rate stretch tool, which is over here, or the R key, and just go zoop, and just keep dragging it along until that point is kind of past that, somewhere past here. And I already have optical flow on, so let's have a little look. Ooh, it's not looking good. We might have stretched it too much. Let's have a look. Optical flow, frame blending. Actually, probably what I need to do is render it. Okay, a weird thing happens in Premiere Pro. I've only noticed it during this course, is that this should be red. Watch this. If I drag this back, oh no, it's working fine. Okay, it will do better when I go to sequence and I go to render in and out. So don't really, don't think, all right, optical flow is not working until you've done a proper render and see what it actually, once it's done its processing, what it looks like. Okay, I'll speed this up. I take it back. Optical flow looks great now. I was about to go and change a different one, but no, look, looks sweet. So other shortcuts that we've learned, remember I'm going to go to 15 seconds, 0 frames, and I've got this selected. My favorite keys, can't remember which my super favorite one. I don't know, W, it will trim it off to the end. Okay, or you could use Command K on a Mac or Control K on a PC just to kind of do a cut there and delete this. Or you could grab your razor tool, which is the C key. However you want to do it, we're getting there. Last thing I want to do is wreck my lovely render and go and play around with this. So I'm going to probably just do the scale on the whole thing. Okay, you could scale these individual parts depending on what you want to do, but for me, I can scale the whole thing. Okay, and just go, you're just a bit bigger. Here we go. Yep. I know not the promised land of make vertical, but that's what it is. And it will get better. I love this responsive time, responsive design, responsive position, pinning, all of that sort of stuff is going to make life easier when you are in the trenches, making a zillion different social media formats. All right, let's jump into the next video.